Welcome to Random Talk. I'm Jim Arnold, your host.
And I'm Marcia. I'm filling in for Paul.
Paul's still down in the Dominican Republic. It must be this cold weather that's kept him away.
You mean the warm weather that he's enjoying?
Yeah, he's down there.
Enjoying.
What's he doing down there?
I would say he's having a great time. Live it up, Paul.
He said he's playing golf, but I've never seen him play golf.
Oh, he plays golf.
Are you sure about that?
Yep, I've been told.
Okay. Well, the cold weather up here has kept him away. So
don't blame him. I'd like to be right there with him.
I'm Jim Arnold, your host. I'm as you know, a collectaholic. I collect real and replica movie props and have a whole line of ancient mystery items. I specialize in Indiana Jones, 007, and science fiction. My website is realart.net. That's REELART.net. Now call in at 727-441-3000. We'd love to hear your random talk. The show about nothing or everything.
You can call and talk to me also.
It depends on your perspective, right?
Absolutely right.
I guess we could start the show off with, to add the news that we heard before about the jelly bean for the Super Bowl that's beer tasting.
Beer flavored.
German
beer flavored.
Well, wouldn't that be the same thing? German
beer is different from regular beer, I would say.
Right, but you were correcting me on my grammar. Taiwanese ice cream shops sell pig's feet and tofu flavored ice cream, and they also have Taiwanese beer. Now, I've actually been to Taiwan, so I've had the Taiwanese beer. It kind of tastes like Bud Select. That's probably why I like Bud Select. But I don't know. You can get a pig knuckle flavored ice cream.
Gross.
Or even
what would that even taste like? That's just...
Mix of red bean and watermelon.
No, thank you.
They've been in business for over 33 years. And
I don't know how they do it because I wouldn't be buying that product.
I mean, you can even get a wasabi flavored ice cream.
Too
Who
hot
would want
for
to
me.
do that? I actually ate that wasabi by accident. About
not knowing what it was.
Oh, yeah, a big laugh out of your mouth.
That was pretty funny.
I thought it was some kind of sugar stuff and popped the whole thing, a spoonful in my mouth. And
I said, do you know what
you're
doing?
I had to run to the bathroom and get a towel and stick it in my mouth. Some guy came in to go to the bathroom, and I'm in there with a paper towel stuffed in my mouth.
Way too much information.
But you didn't have any sinus congestion.
No, it actually cleared it all up.
It fixed everything for a long time.
It fixed it all up, except I couldn't finish my meal because my mouth was burning so bad.
He had no taste buds left.
Why do people feel the urge to they eat this hot stuff like habanero peppers and all this stuff?
They actually like that.
Yeah, my mom used to get these sweet green peppers, or not green peppers, but they come in a pack.
Sweet peppers.
They look like peppers, small peppers, but they're orange and yellow and red, and they taste like green peppers or a little sweeter. And of course, at the house, I see a pack of those in the refrigerator, so I'm gonna bite into one. It's a yellow one. And I bit into that. Well, I guess it wasn't a sweet pepper. It was a habanero. My daughter still laughs about that today.
It is pretty funny.
And once you bite into that, there's nothing you can do.
No, it was pretty fun. He was quiet, folks.
Yeah. She walks into the kitchen. I got my the flour Tupperware out, and I'm my tongue sticking in there trying to stop it because it burned so bad.
Yeah, well, there you go. It was a quiet day in our house that day, except for the laughter.
Yeah. Okay, we want to hear your stories, 727-441-3000. Now, one of our top subjects of today, we've run into some problems here recently. As you know, I am a culture warrior. I think the whole...
Some people don't know what that means, Jim.
Well, our society, I think the culture is going down the toilet. And we have a loss of ethics, culture, and all that stuff. People just don't have good etiquette anymore. They do all kinds of stuff. And recently we've been having all kinds of problems with one particular subject, which we'll talk about today. And that's especially around Christmas time, because you have a bunch of Christmas parties and stuff. Unwanted children coming to adult parties.
Well, we can always rephrase that people do not know their manners. They don't know the rules.
Well,
and they just encroach upon the invitee by bringing their children to things that are not children approved or accepted, if you will.
Now, you can look at this from different manners. There's the person that's bringing the kid to the party and their ethics and what they're supposed to follow. There's the people that are having the party, their ethics and what they're supposed to do, and the people
enjoying
the party and their ethics and what they're supposed to be doing.
Correct.
And a lot of people have a lot of problems with this. And
let's just say I'm having a party and you are bringing your child.
Well, at our party, since we live together, we get a babysitter for our kid.
Well, I know what to do.
Because,
I wasn't referring
of course,
to
our
what
kids
I
are
do.
in their 20s now, but when they were kids, when we had parties, we would get a babysitter for our kid, and they would be upstairs out of the way so they wouldn't be running around the party, getting in the way. And that's what people
Well,
should do.
really, it's for my protection, their own protection, and not for anybody to do something to my child that I might not be able to see.
Right.
That's what it's all about.
And believe me, with our friends, they need protection.
No, that's not.
Now, any of those friends are welcome to call in at 727
You don't have any friends anymore.
441-3000. I don't have any friends, but
Call
you
me.
have all kinds of friends.
Yeah, you can call me.
Call in and join in on the conversation. Now, during Christmas, I see, some of these people over the years they've gotten so they do on their Christmas invitation. They don't want to offend anybody, the people having the party. So sometimes they put well-behaved kids or well-behaved children.
Or no kids allowed. I mean, that's
or
pretty
they
much,
put no kids allowed. Now, well-behaved, they don't want to offend anybody, so well-behaved kids, well, everybody thinks their kids well-behaved, even though they bring them and they're running all over the place.
You think that's really true,
They're
though?
they're like our dog, Edward, who's
Watch
a puppy.
it. Edward is a puppy.
You let him out of the house and you can't catch because he's running all over the place.
Yeah, he's...
And they're like the Cats and Jammer kids. But there are well-behaved kids, but because some of these kids are just bad, it hurts the good kids. It's like everything else. Because this is bad and some people abuse the privilege, it hurts the rights of the other people. So the best thing to do, no kids allowed. And
Well, I guess when we get an invitation, I actually follow it. I respond, number one, that I'm coming.
Well, right.
Which most people don't even do that.
That's the other thing is that when you do have a party and you're supposed to RSVP.
No.
Hello.
Yeah, and then secondly...
Why? Why do you RSVP? Tell the people. Tell our listeners.
Well, because
why
I give parties, I know you're RSVPing so that they know how much food to have, how much alcohol and or liquid beverages to have, if there's enough room for parking. There's a lot of aspects that fall into this, and sometimes children, the parents bring them but they don't watch them, and therefore they're unruly, uncontrollable, and the parents are there to have a great time, and they do, but at everybody else's expense. And that's where this subject is going today, that if you're being invited to a party and it says no children, you should automatically imply that no children means no children, not because you think yours is good as gold and not going to do anything wrong, or if it's an infant, it's automatically acceptable. No children means no children.
Right, because your kid could be the best kid in the world, but because of all the positives and negatives.
Well, there's some people that get a little unruly at parties. I'm just going to put it that way. Maybe they've ate too much or they drank too much or they're just being silly. And that could offend a parent of a child that's attending this party. So again, that rule should apply, and don't take it so personally. Just follow what the person having the party is asking of you.
And this has come up because people come to these parties, they bring their kids, and then it's like, let them go, let the cat out of the bag. And then these kids are like running around the person's house. If it's my house, and we had a friend, and they got several items in the house broke, and then the people didn't even offer to pay for it. They just left, they didn't think it cost any money or anything, but they actually broke a couple of $1,000s worth of items. And then we had another person, they bring a baby, and they just toss the baby. I couldn't believe the baby's held by the host of the party, and he's doing things.
Yeah, that's
And meanwhile, they toss the baby. That baby's being tossed around. Everybody's holding the baby except the person that brought it. Meanwhile, the parents out partying and doing shots and all kinds of stuff.
Well, I guess this should go back to respect others' feelings when they're inviting you to a party.
And if you're somebody that is attending the party this baby gets tossed on you, you just need to say no. It's your kid. You need to take care of the kid. It's not my responsibility, and you shouldn't even be here with it because there's no kids allowed. And really, this is a big problem. Now, call in. We want to hear your stories about this subject at 727-441-3000. Remember, I'm Jim Arnold, and I'm a collectaholic. I collect real and replica props, dealing in Indiana Jones, science fiction, and James Bond. My website is realart.net, REELART.net. Now, if you go there, buy something, use the discount code Collectaholic, you'll automatically get 10% off. I also have ancient mystery items and all kinds of stuff. Now, since we're talking about parties, another subject in the news, I don't know if you knew this or not, but when you drink, some people have mixers with alcohol. There's actually some of these mixers make you more drunk than they don't make you more drunk, but they set off the breathalyzers more than the others. Now, can you guess what it is?
Tomato juice?
No. Okay, so it's actually diet soda.
That gives off a higher count?
Right. So if you're doing a mixer, and not only does it give off a higher count, but it stays in your system.
So if I order a diet and rum, or
right, a diet
obviously
and rum,
I don't
diet
drink.
and vodka, whatever you're mixing with diet and corn juice or whatever.
Well, I've heard people say Jack and Diet.
Yeah, Jack and Diet,
Okay.
Or there's all kinds of.
So just because it says diet,
Fireball and Diet or whatever. But you do, let's say, a Coke or diet soda or ginger ale or whatever you're drinking. It's the diet. What the sweetener in that diet actually stays in your system. Because sometimes you're drinking and you'll say, okay, I'll stay here a few hours and let the alcohol work out of my system, and then,
which we know that everyone does that, and it's so not true.
And it does actually go out of your system.
Stop drinking for an hour, and then
the problem
I can drive.
is the diet, the chemicals that are in the diet soda cause those things that set off the breathalyzers to actually stay in your system for like 24 hours. So they don't dissipate over.
Okay, girls. I shouldn't say girls.
So
a lot of men as well.
And actually, the
diet stuff.
It's a myth that these diet sodas actually
cut calories.
Yeah, cut calories. They actually do more harm for you than good. The sweetener. Another myth is, what do you think that sweetener's made out of? Now, you should know this because I was harping on.
You harp on a lot of stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. When you go into the grocery store, 85% of all items in the grocery store are made out of a derivative of corn.
Oh.
So
true, you do
whether
harp
it's
on that.
corn syrup or some other chemical with a different name that's corn syrup.
Fructose.
Well, there's a lot of names, hell, they even use corn syrup in the fertilizer that's going on the vegetables and stuff.
Okay.
Your meats, your meats are
That's corn.
Well, the cows are eating it.
I see. Okay.
They even got fish eating. They've trained fish to eat corn now. They put it on a hook and put it in there. They spray it into their thing, and their fish are eating it.
Okay.
And it's all genetically modified.
Okay.
That's probably why we're having a cancer epidemic. But anyway, the diet soda, the sweetener, is made from a derivative of corn. Well, the regular soda is not cane sugar. What's it made out of?
Refined sugar?
Corn. That's why I drink Throwback. Even though I'll hide this. They didn't have it at the drugstore I was at today. So I had to get regular Mountain Dew, which is my, I like to do the dew.
I think you should drink water.
I like to do Throwback, but because it's got real cane sugar. This is just regular corn syrup, just like I feel like a fish, for Christ's sake. They've trained me to eat that. So, it's ridiculous. So, what did you do over the weekend? Since I haven't seen you.
What does that mean?
Well,
I was in Bel Air for a couple days. Bel Air is kind of between Largo and Clearwater. Beautiful area. My daughter lives there. I was helping her decorate a few of her rooms in her house and working on some projects. Sewing a gaucho outfit and making a baby quilt. So I've been very busy. And then, unfortunately, my sister went into the hospital. So
that's too bad.
I have to go visit her when I'm done and see that she's okay.
The in the news was this. There was a nun over in Italy, and she had a baby.
A nun?
Yeah. And everybody was surprised. She didn't even know she was pregnant. But they had to rush her to the hospital because evidently her water broke.
Oh.
And she had this baby, and they couldn't figure out because she was in a, what do they call them, nunnery? Or I guess that's what they call them. And, she didn't even know. Huh? Oh, convent. That's what they're called. Yeah. Hell, I grew up in a Catholic diocese. I forgot that. But
they are called nunneries, though, aren't they?
I don't know. No, I think they are called convents. That's where the women are, and there's no men allowed. Although I don't know how she got pregnant. Maybe
immaculate
it was
conception.
Yeah, it was immaculate conception with artificial insemination or something. I don't know.
Interesting.
But the church has been in the news a lot this week. I don't know if the pregnant nun set it off, but. They said that they released that this cardinal or the Pope Benedict, who was before Pope Francis, this is the one that resigned. He actually prosecuted over 900 cardinals and bishops for being pedophiles.
Really?
And they, and he was only a pope for what, 2 years, something like that. Another thing that came out was they're prosecuting a cardinal for money laundering. He evidently money laundered $45 million through Swiss bank account from Italy, and he was laundering money for drug dealers.
Nice.
Now this is a cardinal that we're talking about, not even a priest.
Wow.
He's way up the ladder.
Wow.
Do you believe that?
I do believe that.
And
that's unfortunate.
And they said just in the last couple years, there's been over close to 2,000 cases of pedophilia in the priesthood in Europe.
So sad. It's very sad.
Well, my question always is when this first came out in the U.S., you heard about it in the U.S. You heard all these cases in the U.S. Now, I grew up in a Catholic church, and I was an altar boy, and the guy that actually
priest at your church
that was in charge of the altar boys, and everybody liked him. I mean, he married my sister. He actually is in jail right now for.
He did rephrase that. He didn't marry your sister. He
Oh, right. He was the priest that married my sister.
Thank
Sorry
you.
about that.
Yeah, I was.
He's actually
Confused, right? I
he's
know.
actually in jail right now because he got arrested for pedophilia. Now I always wonder which one of those altar boys, now he was always a great guy to me. He never tried anything with me.
I
But
think you talk too much, so he didn't pick you.
probably, even when
I'm just gonna go with that.
I used to go into the confessional.
'Cause they go for the quiet ones.
I'll tell you, it was really weird growing up in this. You'd go into the confessional. I'm like, I didn't do anything wrong. So what am I supposed to say? And
So
they made
what,
us
you
go.
made up-
Yeah, I made up stuff. I'd go in there and make stuff up, and then go say 5 Hail Marys. I say, you sure you don't want me to do a couple of Our Fathers on top of that? And he's like, no, Jimmy, just say that. I said, how'd you know who I am? You're not supposed to be able to see me. And he said, I can tell by your voice.
Nice.
And but very weird. Also, I don't know if this has anything to do with the church, but it could, because they found Michelangelo's 16th century grocery list.
What did he paint it into? One
He
of his...
actually there it is. Here's a picture of it. I'll show you. Our listeners can't see it, but they can.
I didn't even see it. Let me see.
You can see it. They found this grocery list that was Michelangelo's, and he did draw pictures of what he wanted, and he wrote, like, go get me a salami and loaf of bread. Now, Michelangelo, many people don't know this, but he was actually connected to the church. The Medici family, which actually ran France, Italy at the time.
There's a picture.
He was the stepson to the Medici family. They brought him into their family, and the actual son of the Medici family was, of course, Pope. And that's when the start of the Renaissance started happening, and it was because of that. And then, if you ever saw that movie with Rex Harrison, The Agony and the Ecstasy, with Charleston Heston, they don't ever tell you that they're related, do they? But they were actually related. They were stepbrothers, and that's where the Renaissance started and all that. You probably really don't care, do you?
No, I just didn't know that.
And also, Paramount Studios has taken the lead here. The movies that they'll put out are only going to be available in digital format. So now that's going to the movie theater. So if your movie theater is not digital, they will not be able to have their movies. Now, what movie do you think is the first movie?
I don't know.
I'll back it up here. What's the last
sakes.
movie that was available on analog from Paramount? Now, this is going to the movie theater, not to the people out. They'll still do Blu-rays and all that stuff.
Give me a hint.
It's your son's favorite movie.
Oh, the pressure. Scarface? I don't know.
Anchorman 2.
Oh.
That's the last analog movie that Paramount's putting out.
Wow.
And their first and the first digital movie that they're putting out was The Wolf of Wall Street. So that's like a landmark, and that'll be, if you ever watch that on Netflix, they got a documentary on history of movies. This will be in there because, like, the first complete CG movie. Can you guess what that is?
No.
Now, you should know this because I've told you. It's Terminator 2. That's the first completely CG movie, was Terminator 2.
What does CG stand for?
It was computer graphics.
Oh, thank you. I'm just letting the listeners know.
And that was done by Industrial Light and Magic.
Okay.
So that was completely. Now you'll like this. There's been a run, and there's a thing called grass waterbeds that are happening in the yards out here across the southeast here.
You could lay in the lawn with the sprinklers on.
I think we got one of these in our backyard. We got a grass waterbed. You go out there, and it looks like a big waterbed. And they're called lawn blisters or lawn boils.
Nope,
now you know what causes this? It looks like a waterbed, and it's a lawn boil. What actually causes this is that these people put the Visqueen down and then they put sod on top of it. And what happens is over the years, water gets underneath there, and then underneath the visqueen, it sinks in the soil, and it creates a gap in there, and it creates a blister with that soil.
They first noticed this in Portland, Oregon, folks, if that kind of brings you in on where that happened.
Now, back to the movie thing, they've just released, with the Golden Globes and Oscars coming up here, the 10 greatest movies of all time. The critics have released. Now,
I should hold the paper and see if you can guess them.
Well, I've already looked at this.
Well, there you go.
Now, what is the greatest? Now, I'm a movie expert, of course, since I collect movies. Got video addiction. What's the greatest movie of all time?
Ben-Hur.
Well, you know what? Every year that they usually have the same movie. It hasn't changed.
Gone with the Wind.
That's what you're going to say, Casablanca?
Yeah.
That's a great movie, but every year for at least 30 years that I've been really seriously looking at this stuff, the best movie, number one movie for all critics has been Citizen Kane.
Oh, that's
with
a really
Orson
old
Welles.
one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And, the thing, and this is the first year Vertigo
Alfred
has
Hitchcock?
taken the number one place. Yeah, Vertigo. Now, have you
Wow.
seen? You remember seeing that?
I have seen it. I got a
great
little
movie.
busy.
It's a great movie, but it's taken the number one place from Citizen Kane. Citizen Kane, of course, is number 2. Tokyo Stories, number 3. Now, another one, number 6, is 2001: A Space Odyssey. Of course, number 7 is The Searchers with John Wayne. That's always up there. Now, oddly enough, Vertigo and Citizen Kane were box office flops when they came out. They were box office flops, and while Citizen Kane got good critic reviews when it came out, Vertigo didn't even get critic reviews. It was poor.
Everybody
it was rated
was dizzy
poor
watching it
when it came out. But now it's like one of the top movies of all time. Also happening is Google has released their new maps for the year, their new version of maps, and it's including museums. So across the world, when you walk in a museum, you automatically can get a map of the museum, and it tells you where to go. So when you go in the Louvre, now you don't have to get that stupid... When you walk in the Louvre, they got these maps. And basically they're a piece of paper, and it tells you where to go to see the Mona Lisa, how to get there.
basically.
You walk in, there's thousands and thousands of works of art, and you get the map because you want to see the Mona Lisa. Everybody wants to see the Mona Lisa there. And then you go see it, and you realize it's the size of a one-sheet poster.
It's so disappointing.
And you turn to your right, and there's this Botticelli of Napoleon at Waterloo that takes up the whole
it's
building
fabulous.
there.
Mona Lisa's
It's just incredible. And this little Mona Lisa here that's like the size of a one-sheet poster. But anyway, now when you go into these museums, you pull up Google Maps, and it'll show you all the works of art. And if you want to go to the Egyptian area, it'll show you how to get there, just like you do your navigation to get down to, like I do when I get down to the radio station every day. Whether you're in Chicago at the Art Institute, whether you're at New York at the Metropolitan Museum of Art,
Or Philadelphia at the Mutter Museum.
or at Tampa, anywhere you go, Google's will be there. Google is increasingly coming into your life. Now, to take it one step further, Google's introducing contacts that are smart. It's like the smart goggles, only it's a smart contacts. Now, initially, these will be used for testing people with diabetes. I mean, would you rather have a prick in your finger or just wear contacts and it lights up when you need to get insulin? But also they're saying they're going to incorporate the Google Maps. So when you go into a museum, it'll show you where to go to see your stuff. But it's cool as hell. I wonder, because I wear contacts. and I have trouble with the thickness of the thing. How thin can they do this? And they're going to power this. It's a difference in, batteries are difference in chemicals.
What is it, solar powered? You might have to go outside.
No, you would think it's solar powered.
I don't know.
But it's regular batteries, like for your phone, is a chemical reaction that does your battery. They're doing a chemical reaction that's caused by heat from the outside with the chemicals in your eye and the chemical on the inside of the electronics, and that will power that thing forever. Now, forever, since it hasn't been instituted yet, we don't know.
How long forever is.
Yeah, how long forever is. I also saw at the CES show, they have a virtual is really coming out, and they got these goggles, and you can play games on it, and you don't even have to, you're just wearing these over your head.
What do you just wink once or blink or?
Well, these are actually available now, and you can buy these goggles, and it's for watching TV
That's
or
not
playing
the Consumer Electronics Show, is what he was referring to.
That might be something, you can wear these to bed and just wear these goggles on, and you don't even have to turn the TV on anymore.
No, that's
you just
interesting.
Walk around and play your games and everything. Now, we knew this was going to happen, too. Now, you listeners can call in at 727-441-3000. We're waiting for you to join in on the conversation, or tell us if you don't like the conversation.
It's all random here.
Now, we knew with everything happening in Egypt, you love Egypt so much.
I do.
We had a great time visiting
I would
Egypt.
recommend that as a place to go.
Except not right at the moment, because you'd probably get your throat slit. But when we visited 10 years ago, it was one of my, I got to say, it was one of my favorite places in the world. The people were friendly. They didn't hate Americans at that time. Now
they love Americans.
They wear hats that say, "We hate the U.S." on it. But now, back then, they want you invite you into their house to have dinner with you. And the food was good. Mm-hmm. Now, all they eat is curry. So, I don't know. But,
a lot of olives and bread.
I knew this was going to happen with all this uprising and Mubarak being kicked out and everything. I knew this was going to happen.
Well, what happened? Tell me.
This is a good thing. They've recovered 1,500, and this was just happened yesterday, 1,500 looted artifacts were recovered by the Egyptian police.
Where were they?
People have been stealing them. While the fight's going on in Cairo, there's another battle going on, and that's the battle for money in the universe. And there's people that are taking stuff from museums, and there's people taking stuff from the tombs.
That is probably the best museum in Egypt.
They ship it out of the
the
King
museum.
Tut game, and once you see that, you have never seen so much gold in your life.
Ever.
The whole.
I don't have that much gold, folks.
Casket is solid gold.
Sarcophagus.
And you lift that up, and next to it's another one that's
you don't
gold.
lift anything
and then
up.
There's gold
it's displayed
for his brains and all his body parts.
God.
That's all gold. And
museum in Cairo is something.
But
to
these
see.
people have been looting this stuff and selling it to private collectors. There's collectors.
I know you don't have any. Darn.
I hate to say it, but I'm one of those collectors that would just love to have some of this stuff. But
we don't.
It's sad because once it gets out there, and some of this stuff hasn't even gone through the science part of it yet, and it could give us more information on the past. And also, this has been happening in Iraq. And Iraq, of course, is the first place. That's where ancient Sumeria was, and that's where kind of mankind began their that's intelligent mankind. And there's so many artifacts that have gotten lost through the war here. And, of course, even before the war, because the people there don't give a damn. They really just don't give a damn. They could care about anything. They really don't. And talk about artifacts and my movie stuff, and you'll enjoy this. There's a couple of auctions happening here that are in the news. And we got from X-Men Origins, there's Wolverine Long Knife and Sheath. which is pretty cool. It's actually metal. I showed interest in that. These are items that I have.
You mean that you're bidding on that? Is that
that's what I mean.
When you say you're showing interest.
Yeah, when I'm sharing this with our audience,
with our
but
listeners.
I actually have interest in these items. X-Men, Origins, Wolverine's sterling silver bracelet.
I think Hugh Jackman
from Mad
really
Max.
Cute.
If any of you remember Mad Max, that was
Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson's first film. His homemade sword and sheath, which is metal.
I would like
and
that.
And then another Mad Max sword. And then from a Knight's Tale, a Knight's metal helmet. Kill Bill 2, a broad saber prop. From Casino Royale with Daniel Craig, a license plate prop. From the Thomas Crown Affair,
I do like
with
that
Pierce
movie.
Brosnan, 5 bowler hats that were used in
I
the
would
film.
love that.
And from the show Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In, the Fickle Finger of Fate Award.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Remember that?
I do.
Okay, now, I did actually win the Pulp Fiction foot ashtray.
I don't even remember.
Oh, this was used in that. Remember that guy with the bathrobe that was smoking pot the whole time? But this is
vaguely.
And then I got a Clash of the Titans Medusa wall ornament prop. I actually got that.
So the other ones you just put a bid in, you didn't get.
Yeah,
them?
I didn't get that.
Ah, well.
Acronophobia or whatever. 3 baby prop spiders.
Oh.
I actually got those. And then, of course, I actually got a original 1865 Abraham Lincoln swatch of the funeral train procession. After he died, they brought his funeral train across the country, and this is a swatch of the flag.
Wow.
That was on his casket. And then there's a picture of the train, and they closed down a museum, I guess. It had nothing to do with the sequester or anything. And then I got an original Abraham Lincoln wood panel from his childhood home. Apocalypto Aztec knife, and from The Hobbit, a antler prop. And then, of course, coming up this weekend from a historical thing is Buffalo Bill Wild West Show, his letter and Crazy Horse's beaded pouch and shoes. And then Geronimo's autograph. If you can imagine what that looks like.
I can't even imagine.
And
he knew how to write.
Kind of an interesting thing here is there's 2 saddles. One John Wayne used in The Shootist, which was a movie about J.B. Brooks, who was a fugitive and dealing with cancer at the turn of the century. So there's a saddle that John Wayne used, and then the actual saddle that J.B. Brooks used. And then Tom Mix's pair of his chaps.
Cool.
Also, a lot of books have gone into the public domain on January 1st. Books, movies, a lot of stuff. All the Sherlock Holmes items or anything Sir Arthur Conan Doyle did is in the public domain now. So you can use like Sherlock. I can use it in my comic book. So maybe I'll make myself Sherlock Holmes instead of Jim Arnold. What do you think of that?
I don't know. I'll have to check with Dr. Watson.
Okay, call on in at 727-441-3000. I'm Jim Arnold. Check out the website at realart.net. That's REELART.net.
I want to give a shout out to Paul Cox Chiropractic. Paul is on vacation this week, but hope he's having a great time. He's located in Newport Richey on Main Street. I also want to do a shout out to Brandon at Advanced Diagnostic Solutions. Might want to check him out if you have sleep apnea or you need your oxygen tested.
I guess where the world's biggest coffee drinkers come from?
Seattle, where the Seahawks are.
Really?
Oh.
Well, you would think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I suppose I'm wrong.
The U.S. is 47th in the world in coffee use. Number 1 is the Netherlands.
No, that's
now that small country drinks more coffee than the whole U.S.
That's crazy.
And Germany is in there, the U.K., France, Turkey. A lot of those countries drink a lot more coffee than we do here.
Wow.
Even Egypt drinks more coffee than we do.
Wow.
But you wouldn't think that.
They give you in little tiny cups. It's almost like a doll size.
Well, that's true, because we've been there.
Very small.
They do that. And
we would call espresso or demitasse. They call coffee, and it's in a really small little tiny cup.
Now you should know this because aren't you a shopaholic? That's how you should introduce yourself. This is not only magnificent Marcia, but she's
I like that.
Like I'm a collectaholic. She's a shopaholic, right? Well, there's a new up and coming
mall
designer.
Oh.
Now she makes she's from England, and she creates expensive brooches inspired by pigeon droppings.
Oh, I think I read something about that. I'm not really impressed.
Yeah, and they're made with gold and silver and precious stones and diamonds.
Yeah.
And they look just like our mailbox.
Yeah, not impressed.
Those we got a black mailbox, and there's I think some of her artworks on them.
Okay.
I get them on my car.
I won't be purchasing any. That's a good news for you.
Yeah. Now, of course, with Sundance Film Festival happening, there's a lot of movie stars and all kinds of stuff going on. But, there was an Asian male model that has been in the news because this guy's hot, man, and all the girls are going wild over him and all this stuff. Well, it's just come out that this male model that's really popular, it's like a Justin Bieber over there doing the bee-boo, is actually a cute girl.
Oh, it's a she?
Yeah, it wasn't a male model at all, but they've been using him they've been using her as a male model because he fit the profile.
Wow.
And he's been pretty popular, but the cat's out of the bag, and it's not a male. So now he went from, I guess, Justin Bieber was really popular, and now he's kind of going down the toilet himself. And I guess back to the religion thing, there's a South African pastor is telling that his congregation goes out and grazes and eats grass after each, and they're trying to do that to be closer to God. I thought God was up high, not down low. Isn't the devil supposed to be in the earth?
Well, everybody has different beliefs, and if that works for him and he gets a congregation because of it,
yeah. Well, there's
fine.
There was a picture, and they got like 400 people out grazing in a field eating grass.
Kind of silly.
And then, I guess nearby, they may even be a part of that church. And an artist sews portraits of his family into the palm of his hand. So, very strange. Why would you want to sew portraits of anybody in your hand? Wouldn't that hurt? I guess that's
that would hurt.
Tattoos. I've never had a tattoo, but I would think that would hurt. Wouldn't that hurt?
Yes.
Now, here in Florida, in the news, there's a man that builds a 12,000 square foot castle in the swamp. Now, it's I don't know where this town is. Do you? It's in, let's see, Ona. You know where Ona, Florida is? It's in Hardy County. You ever heard of Hardy County? But he built a castle. He's been building it for 25 years. And I guess
he's known as the Da Vinci of debris.
That's right.
He's been building it in the middle of a swamp for 12 years. Oh my gosh!
And of course, in the beginning, the people were complaining about him. Now it's like the number one attraction there.
Okay, he's just a nut.
Now, also the Swedes have created a machine that turns sweat into drinking water. Now, where have you heard this story before? In my comic book, the character Jim Arnold and his family, Marcia, Brandon, and Christine, enter into the hollow earth at the junction point in Florence in Italy, and they're wearing a suit that similar to the movie Dune, where it takes the sweat from your body and reconstitute it into drinking water. Because as we travel into the hollow earth, we drink the drinking water. How do we see? Because we're underneath in a with quartz on the wall, and there's lights from above. But this actual guy created a machine that turns sweat into drinking water. And, of course, NASA gave him some money to do it. And
what does something like that cost?
Well, they haven't got it for sale yet, but I'm sure it's millions and millions of dollars.
Oh.
So far, 500 people have used this machine. But I guess it's a good way to get drinking water where you can't get it. Now, this I'm going to get you this for your birthday. It's called a Remember Ring. It won't let you forget another anniversary again.
I don't have that problem. Maybe that should be for yourself.
This ring is it's like a wedding band, and it heats up 24 hours before the big day. And it keeps getting hotter and hotter before the big day. So
it's like a habanero pepper on your finger?
That's right. And on the day, so you won't forget that you're having an anniversary.
Great.
And it works with a battery-charged microchip clock that converts heat from your hand into electricity, which means you'll never run out of power. And it comes in various colors. You sure you...
I think you should buy yourself one. You seem
I never forget.
Oh, yeah, I think you do.
Now, you're going to love this one.
I haven't loved the last three.
Hey, let's take it. I'm pulling here from my bottom.
I'm still looking at the Asian girl that looks like a guy.
Oh, okay. Well, here you go. I got one for you here. The Japanese have come out with smartphone panties for your iPhone.
Cool.
These panties, they protect the private parts of your phone.
What?
Of your smartphone. The panties protect your private parts of your phone. It covers the base of the device, and they got all different kinds that you can buy. At first, when they brought it out, it lacked any kind of functionality at all, and then they started selling like hotcakes. So they re-engineered it and came back on the market with the Smart Pants Act success. Now they're made out of silicone, so they do stretch. They get $2 a piece for these, and you can buy them up on eBay right now. Oh, and now they've released them in the U.S. at $38 a piece.
I thought you just said they were $2.
Yeah, in the beginning when they first came out in Japan.
Forget it.
Now they're up on eBay, and they're $38 a piece.
I would have considered that for an anniversary
really
gift for you,
but they're guaranteed to make your phone. They're guaranteed to make your phone stand out. Now take a look at that. You need to look at that.
You are nuts. I don't know how you find these things.
That's what you're going to get.
It looks like a thong.
There's a.
Like
I'm pulling it up right now.
Okay, it looks like.
Yeah, that's
what they wear in Rio.
Yeah, that's strange.
Yeah.
Strange. That is the question here.
Strange but true.
Okay, I got this week's 10 weirdest things on eBay.
Great. Is this one of them?
We got a Civil War foot prop. Not fool. This just is any foot. It's a Civil War soldier's infected severed foot.
Gross.
Actually, it's handmade. You can buy it for $39.99 on eBay. Here's what you need. Barack Obama toilet paper.
Oh, great. I'd see him on
$5.94 a roll.
Sheet.
You can wipe your ass with them.
Oh, thank you.
Probably won't be worth anything after he's out of office. Then there's a taxidermy duckling. So you can get a baby duckling that looks so real you'd think Chuck Tesla made it. It's currently going at $21.50, and people are fighting over it.
I don't get it.
There's a woman on eBay, and you can buy a voodoo spell from her.
Oh.
So you probably like this because you believe in that stuff. You're looking for love, beauty, revenge. Bridget will perform a voodoo spell for you for $8.87. Now I wonder why they got these $8.87. Where do you come with that?
It's a magic number.
Why wouldn't you
for
do
her.
$9.99 or something?
It's
like
a magic
that?
number.
Now here, last week we were talking about the can from France that you can buy.
Oh,
Remember
with the air? The
yeah.
can
Well,
of air.
here's the brother to that, or brethren of the sword, the jar of farts. So you can buy a jar of farts, and you can pay $27.52.
What kind
for
of an
it.
idiot purchases these kinds of things?
And then number 6 is the Haunted Demon Power Ring. For $165, you can have a radiated, enchanting sigil ring of Incho Alchemist. Next, the baby shark embryo. You can get a baby shark in a jar.
Crazy.
Then there's the giant granny pants. You can get a niece's hand in marriage, calling herself Aunt Diane. Now, the proceeds from this will go to the Habitat for Humanity.
I do believe in that cause.
Lastly, the haunted baby doll. And now, one thing we were talking about were the another thing was the hyperbolic shirt that is the brother to the plates we had that we talked about last week, and it's impossible to stain. So it's made out of silicone.
Oh, right. I remember.
And yeah,
like a
so
bib.
right, and this shirt you can buy, and you just can't stain it. And then now there's a guy here, and he's built a life-size sculpture of Al Pacino out of matchsticks, and he's selling it on eBay.
And how much is that? What's the opening bid?
Well, nobody has bid on it yet, but
is there a final?
Yeah, he wants
bid?
$10,000 for it. So then in New Zealand, the shipwreck they found predates Captain Cook's shipwreck by 50 years. Why is that important? Because Captain Cook discovered New Zealand. So that means somebody else discovered New Zealand before Captain Cook.
While you're on that brief subject, I was watching Pawn Stars the other day, and that show it's funny. I have to admit.
Who's your favorite guy on Pawn Stars?
I really like Rick, the bald guy.
They're all bald. I thought they were all bald.
No, they all have hair except him. Anyhow,
I like Chumley. Come on, you got to go.
No, he's just stupid. Anyhow, he goes to England on a trip by himself, and he goes to a pawn store, and the guy opens this little tiny box. He's going to show him one of London's treasures, and it's a piece of metal that looks rusted. And he said, "Well, what is it?" He said, "Well, if you can match the price or beat it, I'll sell it to you." It said £1,500,000, and which would be equal to what, Jim?
1 million. It's about $2 million.
Okay, so what this little nugget of a piece of rusted metal is a piece of the Titanic.
Yeah, it looked like the package of a chewing gum, about the size of that.
Yeah.
And of course, it comes with all the paperwork, which is very important in this stuff when you got the paperwork. But
$2 million for
that he would have that.
So he ended up buying Elton John's boots.
Yeah, he bought Elton John's boots. Now, you probably don't know this. Elton John has never written one song. Who wrote his songs?
Bernie Taupin.
Now, you got it. You're a smart lady. You know.
Well, he wrote the lyrics. Elton still wrote the music, though, right?
No, he never wrote any music. Elton John's never written any music.
Oh, I thought he did the music and Bernie did the lyrics.
Taupin did all the musics and lyrics for all his songs, and he still does.
Oh, there you go.
And I didn't.
He should have named one of his kids after him.
There's a lot of stars that I know. Cher's one. She doesn't write anything, and there's people out there that just write songs. Barry Manilow used to be a songwriter, and he used to sell his music to these artists. And then he got the idea, why am I doing that? I'll just go and do it myself. And then he became real popular. But there's a lot of people that's all they do is write songs, and then they take it to the artist. And there's a lot of that goes on. You think that these groups write their songs, but they really don't. And I guess, I talked to one guy, and he said once you get into the big time, it's hard to keep up the big time. So you need big time writers to keep you there, because these are just groups that
Taylor
they were
Swift.
They were one.
She writes all her own.
One song wonders, and they need more to keep it going. So we're winding it down here, folks. Thanks for listening today with Magnificent Marcia and Jim, your host. Thanks for listening. I hope you learned something. And remember, your kids at your next party, get a babysitter.
Yep, leave them at home.
Because it always works. And thanks for listening to Random Talk, where the talk is lean and mean.
Like a fighting machine.
Lean and mean like a fighting machine.
WTAN, Clearwater, Tampa Bay. WDCF, Dade City, Tampa Bay. WZHR, Zephyr Hills, Tampa Bay. Listen.